It's back from the dead, the greatest show on earth, Wolf Tracks, with stories that will shock, amaze, and frighten you this season. We also take a look at the video program, its new teacher, and what exactly is going on with SKTV. Come with us as we find out just what dual and team sports are, and of course, we have even more stories that won't leave you bored. All that and more on this episode of Wolf Tracks.
Hey guys.
And welcome back to the first Wolf Tracks episode in a really long time.
It's spooky season.
Chloe, if it's spooky season, why are you carving a watermelon?
Are you not supposed to carve watermelons?
I think the tradition is a pumpkin?
Well, I'm gonna carve a ghost.
All right.
It's late on a moonless night. The sudden rustle of leaves makes you jump. You assume it's your imagination, unless you're down the road to Resurrection Cemetery, just southwest of Chicago. This is the story of Resurrection Mary. January of 1979, a lost taxi driver asked a woman walking on the road which way town was and offered her a free ride.
Stop! Stop the car! I have to get out now and you can't follow me.
Another famous witness was Jerry Palis. He met Mary at the O. Henry Ballroom, which is now the Willowbrook Ballroom, in 1939. He had said to her that because her hands were so cold, she had to have had a warm heart. He offered her a ride home, and she had vanished again, but she had given him her address that night.
I was told a woman by the name of Mary lives here.
No one by that name lives here.
That's her. That's the woman I danced with.
That's my daughter, and she has been dead for 5 years. Palis later found out that the woman he had been dancing with was Mary Bergovie. She died at the age of 21 on her way home from the O. Henry Ballroom with some friends. She died on the way to the hospital from her head injury. Maybe you find yourself down Archer Avenue one night. If you happen to see Mary, what would you do?
Whew, that was some scary stuff.
It really was. Just wait till you hear about Starvation Heights. That took place in Olalla.
Wow, didn't know some scary stuff could go down right here in Port Orchard.
Just over 100 years ago, right here in Olalla, Dr. Linda Hazzard murdered dozens by starving them to death. With no medical degree and little training, she was certified a fasting specialist by the state. She published a book in 1908, Fasting for the Cure of Disease. After her book published, she moved to the Seattle area and ended up starving multiple people to death. She'd even tricked them into giving her a big place in their will. By 1911, she was making headlines, but patients were still steadily flowing. One of Dr. Hazzard's victims, Earl Edward Erdman, left a diary detailing his time under the so-called care of Linda Hazzard. The diet consisted of small portions of soup, broth, and oranges. It continued up until Earl was hospitalized March 28th and then died that afternoon. After moving to Olalla due to bad press, she'd starved 2 wealthy British sisters, Claire and Dora Williamson, Claire to death, who died at 50 pounds. British government got Kitsap County to finally prosecute Dr. Hazzard. She was charged with manslaughter and given only 2 years in prison, then fled to New Zealand, but she wouldn't be gone for long. She'd returned to Olalla in 1920 to build her grand sanitarium. Dr. Hazzard is believed to get around to killing around a dozen more people. Nobody is sure of the exact number, as it is believed there was an incinerator inside her sanitarium. In 1935, her grand sanitarium burned down. 3 years later, Linda Hazzard fell ill and died on June 24, 1938. Ironically enough, she died during a fast that she had took upon herself. Today, there are many books and documentaries that tell the story of the murderous Linda Hazzard that took place right here in Olalla. This may just be Kitsap County's spookiest story.
You know what, Jessica? My favorite part of spooky season is carving watermelons.
Mine has always been carving pumpkins, but with every new year brings changes and new traditions.
Do you ever wonder what goes on behind the scenes at WTV? Or better yet, who's in charge of the WTV production? If you've watched WTV, you know the impact Mr. Downham had on previous classes and the incline of the program. However, since his retirement, Mr. Picard had decided to move up to the high school and take on this tough role. Some of you might recognize Mr. Picard if you were a trailblazer, but for those who were Rain Devils or Generals, who is Mr. Picard and what does he bring to the table?
Hey Mr. Picard, being that you're the new VC teacher, what made you decide to come here and take on this role?
Sure, so as you know, I was a former student here at South Kitsap, and I got to be and have a class with Mr. Downham. So the video program had a huge impact on me as I was a student, but then I also got to continue to use video outside in the professional realm.
Coming into WTV, what are some new ideas that you have for the video class?
So looking at WTV as a whole, one thing we recognized right away as a need was kind of revamping our training program. And so we're spending a lot of time in our lower level classes, VC1, VC2, and looking at what knowledge do they actually need by the time they get to the pro class.
Outside of school, what are some things that you like to do for fun?
So my wife and I, first off, are pretty adventurous. We do a lot of extreme sports, so whitewater rafting, paintballing. I actually run my own scuba diving company outside here. And so involved with that means we get to travel a lot. So world traveling has been on our list of things to do quite consistently every single year.
Speaking on new ideas, what are some things that students can expect to see when they walk into the VC class?
The first probably notable change, which you'll notice, is our community job board. So we've streamlined the process that anyone both in SK or the SK community can actually request a video. So this community job board is designed to get us working for people. They're our clients, and so it's set up in a way that any VC Pro student can come in and actually pick up a job from a client in the outside world. And so the intent there is that we are giving a service to our community and acting as professionals in that realm.
Lastly, how has your experience at South been so far?
You know, transitioning back up here has been a homecoming of sorts. It's kind of amazing, I mean, to look around, and I got to walk these halls. I was a student here. I even have a lot of former teachers that are still in building. So being able to work with them, work with the students of South Kitsap has really been awesome. I think the transition's gone smooth so far, and I love being able to have deeper, higher level conversations with you guys as the year has progressed so far.
You know, Chloe, carving pumpkins is such a workout.
That is true. It's almost as much of a workout as dual and team sports.
Hey Sal, are you missing a PE credit? Do you love playing sports? Or are you just looking to get active during the day? Then we have a solution for you. South offers a class now called Dual and Team Sports, which is a brand new PE class.
I think kids should take the team sports and games class because it's new, it's exciting, and we're just trying to make PE a lot of fun, and that's what it's about. Enjoying fitness, enjoying what you're doing, and that's what we're trying to promote.
I joined Dual and Team Sports because I love team, I love family. As a young boy, I didn't have a family, but now in this class with Mr. Scott, the greatest teacher of all time, I now have a family and a team.
In this class, you're probably going to learn volleyball, hockey. You'll be outside with ultimate frisbee, ultimate softball. There's a variety of things that Mr. Scott has planned, and some things might be surprises as well.
My favorite part about this class is probably to like be playing with a bunch of friends and like a bunch of team sports. So that's really fun.
You know what, Jessica? I think I'm finally done with my pumpkin.
What is that?
Well, with all the sports talk we had, it made me think about longboarding. So, longboard.
Huh, that's kind of weird.
This is longboarding. Longboarding is a type of sport similar to skateboarding. Longboarding tends to be faster than regular skateboarding, but longboards have more traction and stability due to the differing equipment and hardware riders have. So now that you know what longboarding is, where do people go and longboard? Where do people purchase their longboards? Well, you can longboard basically anywhere, but this gets us into a different topic of what styles of longboarding are there. Well, there are three main styles that a lot of people use. One is downhill, or what most people call bombing, which entails the rider bombing down an incline or down a hill. Cruising, which is what it sounds like. Riders just cruising on their boards, riding wherever their heart desires. And finally, dancing. It incorporates dancing and tricks and some other creative maneuvers that the riders seem to be able to do. Riders get to use their body and feet to make creative moves while staying well balanced on the board. So now that we know the different basic styles of longboarding, let's finally talk about where you can purchase a longboard. You can purchase a longboard down at your local skate shop or the local skate shop here in Port Orchard, Unity Skateboards.
Here, come on down to Unity Skate Shop, we'll hook you up with a longboard, get you rolling out there on the streets.
So let's run over some quick tips and tricks for riders to learn and understand. Number 1, learn how to pump correctly. Pumping correctly is one of the most important things a rider can do because it allows you to generate speed easily and efficiently. Number 2, pace yourself. When you're first learning, you may see other boarders bombing insanely giant hills, but you're still learning. Attempt more possible objectives. Number 3, but also, sometimes you gotta push yourself to do things that may not seem possible in your head, but in reality, they are very possible with your skills. Number 4, if you fall down, get right back up, make sure you're okay. If not, go get some help, but make sure to get back on your board and try again when it's safe. And number 5, the most important, wear a helmet. Protect your head. Your head is the most important part of your body. So if you wanna go out and longboard, try it. And I just want to say, have a good rest of your day, SK.
All right, I think I'm finally done. Jessica, we have not seen your pumpkin the whole episode.
All right, I guess I can show it.
Oh, I get it. WT for watermelon time, since I had to go to watermelon.
Chloe, I put WT because it's the first Wolf Tracks episode back.
Oh my gosh, how could I be so silly?
Well guys, thanks for joining us on this first episode of Wolf Tracks, and we'll see you next time.
Now that you're done with your dinner, sitting back in your favorite reclining chair, time for the greatest show on earth. It's Wolf Tracks. 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 It's Wolf Tracks.